Hi everyone, this is a review for the Mattis Anatomical Girth, and this one is the quilted sheepskin covered one. I had this girth, probably rode in this particular one about 5 times, and it just didn't work for me and my horse, and I really think it's due to the shape of the girth and the shape of my horse, and I just don't think the two were really compatible. So this girth actually gave her some girth galls, just little swellings beyond the shoulders. And I'll explain why it rubbed a little bit more with the pictures as well. But essentially, I think what happened was because of the angle, and the girth isn't elastic, I think this portion here just kind of rubbed against the side because there was no real give in the girth. So instead of being able to twist and meet her shape a little bit better, that didn't happen. And so when she moved, it kind of just did that on her side and caused a little friction pressure point. So overall, the girth did not work for me. However, I'll just run you through a couple of features about the girth that I like and don't like. So the quilted material is really nice. I think it's quite easy to keep clean. You can see this is the black version. My horse is grey, so it does show. Doesn't particularly bother me. You can just vacuum it off, but it does show. So when you open the girth up, there's 2 pieces of Velcro on either side, and you can actually see this is real sheepskin that goes around this quilted part. So you can actually take this off and wash it, and you have to wash it with this particular sheepskin wash to maintain the sheepskin. So it's actually about this internal part as well as the external. This is the actual whole sheepskin from the sheep. So it's not just quilted wool or something. This is actual skin. So it does need a particular wash to stay in good condition. So that's the one thing. You're going to have to do a special wash. Something else I didn't like, this is a big thing that puts me off this girth really, is these little loops here. So when you do up the girth, you have to first put your girth billets through here, and then you have to try and get it through here. Now this is lucky because these are kind of stand on their own, so you can position them. But to get it through here, it's quite tight, so that really annoys me. And then to get it through here is okay. This is spring-loaded, so you just have to make sure that you actually pull it up enough and make sure it's in the right holes. And then there is some heavy-duty elastic inside here, which you don't really notice it, but it's just something to be aware of. So I find what happens is when you do up this girth, you can see sort of near the edge, there's not a lot of sheepskin here. So I find that when you just do up the girth, the sheepskin kind of flattens at the end here, and you're kind of left with a bit of an edge. So you always want to make sure that you just pull the sheepskin back up so it's nice and flat against the horse, and it's not going to cause a rubbing mark there. So those are the things I don't like about the girth. Regardless of whether it fits my horse or not, I find that annoying when I use the girth. It takes a long time to dry. If you wash this sheepskin, be prepared to wait at least 2 days if you're just going to dry it in like a natural environment. It does take a long time, so you may want to get a spare liner if you choose to have this. It does have these little rings if you have any attachments that you want to put on there. And this is the other side of the girth here, so you can see mine's a little bit full of grey hair there. You can just vacuum this in between uses, but you know, it does show. So there you go. That's most of my feedback about this girth. I would not buy one again just because it doesn't work for my horse, and I find these tabs super annoying. But if you're okay with those things, it is nice material. It is quality in other ways. So it really comes down to your personal preference and what your horse needs.